Let's talk about something that every team hits when they're launching something new. A new website, new mobile app, a loyalty program, a digital ordering experience, any kind of technology integration. And it's this. The last mile is always the hardest. Not the beginning, not the big ideas, not even the heavy engineering phase. It's the last mile. Let me explain. Think about moving out of the house. At first, it feels pretty easy. You start packing boxes, clothes go in bags, books go in boxes, furniture gets wrapped, things start disappearing from rooms. You're feeling really productive. You feel like you're crushing it. Then comes that final day, that last walkthrough. Suddenly you notice everything. The random drawer you forgot, the cables behind the TV, the junk under the bathroom sink, the spices hiding in the back of the cabinet, that one picture still hanging on the wall. And so you basically dump it all into a box or try your best to collect it all. Essentially, it's 100 tiny details you didn't see before. And that's exactly what the last mile of a digital launch looks like. When teams build new technology experiences, the early stages are about momentum, strategy, architecture, design, integrations. Everyone has the energy. But that last mile, that's where the real work lives. Now you're testing edge cases, fixing weird bugs, reconciling data fields, aligning systems that behave differently than expected. Suddenly, that momentum starts to slow down, the energy starts to wane, not because the team is failing, but because the details matter more than speed. And here's the thing a lot of teams don't realize. Those final details determine whether the launch feels polished or painful to the guest. One broken confirmation email, the loyalty point misfire, one ordering flow glitch. That is all it takes to create friction, and friction kills momentum. So the last mile demands something different from the team. It demands patience, coordination, and most importantly, it demands focus. Now, if you're leading one of these projects or you're part of a team grinding through the final stages, there are a few things you can do to make the last mile easier. First, shrink the battlefield. That's a big one. At the end of a project, everything can feel overwhelming. There's bugs, tickets, feedback on the tickets, revisions, adjustments. Instead of trying to solve everything at once, narrow the focus. What are the 5 things that must work perfect on day 1? Ordering, payment, confirmation, loyalty, guest communication. Lock those down first. Everything else can follow. The second thing to keep in mind is centralizing communication. The last mile gets messy when 5 teams are solving the same problem in 5 different Slack channels, back-channeling with each other, not communicating with the team, so on and so forth. So create one command center, one place where issues are logged, prioritized, and resolved, because clarity reduces stress. Third, protect the team's energy. The final stretch can burn people out. Long days, constant testing, repeated revisions. Leaders need to recognize that this phase isn't about pushing harder, about pushing smarter. Celebrate the progress. Call out the wins. Remind the team how far they've come and how far it is to finish. It's really close, but you've got to keep that energy. Fourth, and this one matters a lot, test like a real guest, not like a developer or engineer, not like a marketer. Order like a hungry customer sitting in their car. Use different phones, different devices, different payment types. Use different pickup scenarios, because guests don't follow perfect scripts. They do weird stuff. Your system needs to survive that. In fact, here at 3L, we've had our daughters test this, who are 3 years old. I've had my mom test it. Finally, remember what the lost time really represents. It's not a delay. It's not nuance. It's the moment where strategy turns into real experience. The moment where all the planning, all the code, all the collaboration becomes something a real person touches. That's worth doing right. So when your team hits that final stretch and it feels like it's slowing down, take a breath, sweep the corners, check the drawers, finish the job with care. Because in tech, just like moving out of a house, the last mile is where everything that was missed finally gets seen. And when you do handle it well, that launch feels effortless. And one thing to remember, we love timelines. We love to hit deadlines. And of course, we have to answer to a lot of stakeholders. But as the saying goes, people aren't going to remember that you launched the new site a couple weeks late, mainly because the guest doesn't even know when you're planning on launching it. But the guest will remember if there are bugs, failures, and issues. So take the time you need in order to prevent that from happening. It's worth every day past the original deadline. And there's no shame in that game because at the end of the day, everybody internally wants to make more money. And externally, every guest wants it to be smooth and effortless. And if you take the time to actually measure that and work together, you're going to get there. That last mile for the runners out there can be one of the most excruciating in a marathon. For those that haven't run, like me, moving out of a house seems like it flows nicely until that last day. That's where everything piles up. And next thing you know, you're leaving your home for a new one at like midnight because you forgot everything. So do yourself a favor, keep those three tactics in mind as you're entering the end of a technological build or new rollout. Hunker down, take the breath, get over that finish line. You absolutely can do it, especially with the right partners. As always, thank you for listening, and please rate this highly on Spotify, YouTube, and like this on LinkedIn. Give us a 5-star review if you could. I know it takes time out of your day, but it is so greatly appreciated. Until next time, cheers.